Warning: Kingdom Death contains mature content, be it in its story themes and or its images. While while videos involving Kingdom Death Monster may not contain specifically mature content in them, the game does, and thus, if these videos generate interest for it, you've been warned that that is what it will lead to. If this does not bother you, please enjoy the video. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this board game overview video for Kingdom Death Monsters Disorders. This is where I will be covering the various disorders in the game, both their good and bad aspects, and how they can interact or how they can really mess up your game. Now, I do want to start with a preface. Not all the disorders are bad. There's a few in here, I'd say 3 or 4, that are either interesting or really good. There's actually at least 2 in here that can be considered good. But it's a pretty thick deck, and expansions do increase it. And I don't know if the ones from the expansions are good or even mediocre. Regardless, let's get to these cards. Alright, first we have Echmophobia. Sharp things make you uncomfortable. It's just a matter of time before someone cuts themselves. You cannot activate or depart with axes, swords, spears, daggers, scythes, or guitars in your gear grid. Thankfully, this doesn't result in you having to throw those away. Next, we have Anxiety. You are afraid of being afraid. You are a nervous wreck, and monsters can smell this in your scent. At the start of each showdown, gain the priority target, unless you have stinky gear in your gear grid. So this really isn't too bad. Not only can you use fecal salve or monster grease and just be like, look, I don't have it because I'm just starting with it. You are only starting with it. You are the target for the first attack. So you can always set yourself up for that and just deal with it. It's not like you keep it for the whole thing. Apathetic. You've given up. Nothing seems to matter. You have no concern for your own well-being. You cannot use your gain survival. You cannot gain courage. Cure this disorder if you have 8+ understanding. This can ruin somebody, but doesn't make them useless, especially if they're got a frenzy build. Oh god, this is fun with frenzy builds. Not that this is fun, it's not really in the way. At that point in time, you just worry about not being able to gain the courage. Gaining the +8 understanding makes everything better, and pretty much makes you immune to this. Binge eating. Eating is the only thing that helps you escape your miserable life. You cannot depart unless you have consumable gear in your gear grid. You must consume if a choice to consume arises. So keep in mind, just because something is consumable doesn't mean that it will get consumed. Like, if it doesn't have a consumable effect, you're not going to. This does mean you might not want to mess with bug patches and such, because there's a 3 in 10 chance you'll just die with some of those, as well as a lot of other consumable stuff. You're likely to eat something that's going to kill you, is the point. Lily? You have compulsive tics in the form of sporadic muttering, cursing, whimpering, and screaming. All your gear is noisy. You are always a threat unless you are knocked down. That's good. Even if effects say otherwise. Considering being knocked down is the primary way to not be a threat, that's pretty much okay. But yeah, being noisy. That can suck. Fear of the dark. This one really sucks. You cannot bear the oppressing darkness any longer. You retire. If you gain this disorder during a hunt or a showdown, and you put on a brave face until you return to the settlement, vowing never to leave the Lantern Horde again. Yeah, this one's debatable with how bad this can be. You clearly have to remove the disorder, but the question is, do you have to unretire your character then? I would say so. The worst part is, depending on how strict your group is going to be, if your character gets unretired and doesn't have the disorder gone, that's going to really suck because you're automatically retired again. But that really depends on how much of an ass you want to be with this. Hemophobia. I think this is actually worse than Afraid of the Dark. The mere sight of blood makes you lightheaded, and serious gore can knock you out. During the showdown, whenever a survivor, including you, gains a bleeding token, you are knocked down. I have seen somebody who has this and Rhythm Chaser so many times. It's not even funny. But yeah, it ruins Rhythm Chaser or anything like that, because bleeding happens a decent amount, especially against the Butcher or higher level White Lions. Hoarder. You compulsively collect and stash anything you can get your hands on. Every little bit you add to your secret hoard makes your existence feel more real. Whenever you are a returning survivor, archive one resource gear from the last showdown and gain +1 courage. This isn't horrible, especially early on, because you're not going to have much use for those broken lanterns, or you can, as a group, decide something to get rid of. So you get rid of the worst thing is the point. Now, if you're taking that optional rule, or it's not really optional, it's technically just another way to play, where what they collect is their own, and, you have to basically trade for it and such, then they've got to stick with losing what they have at the same point in time, meaning they won't also be able to get from the hall unless they have to, which means they didn't have anything. But I really also don't like playing with that rule anyway. But that's me. Honorable. You believe in honor and fairness. When conducting yourself on the battlefield, it is these strong principles that have kept you alive, and you will not abandon them under any circumstances. You cannot attack a monster from its blind spot or if it's knocked down. So, yeah, you basically don't want this with zero presence or grand weapon fighters. Like, you don't want the survivor that has this to have zero presence. But grand weapon, you don't want somebody to have it at all. Or anything that just reliably knocks down. Although, with that said, it does make for some interesting choices in certain hunt events and other things, having that one. Hyperactive. Whether you are running, fiddling with your gear, or pacing, you are always moving. During the showdown, you must move at least one space every round. This blows if you want to use cumbersome weapons. Otherwise, it's just a little annoying, and I don't know what happens if you can't move. This should say if able to, honestly, and that's how I interpret it. But, yeah, anything where you need to sacrifice your movement, that this disorder just ruins it. Immortal. Arguably one of the best disorders. I actually just got this recently on my own character for the first time in our group. You are immortal. You will live forever and cannot be killed. While you are insane, convert all damage dealt to your hit locations to brain damage. You are so busy reveling in your own glory that you cannot spend survival while insane. That's perfectly fine. The issue that I have is we're playing on a actual 6-player variant with this, so it kind of sucks right now because we're still in the early years, but otherwise this is amazing. Especially if you've gained other things that make it so you can't spend survival or, again, frenzy. And also, you can also just make sure not to be insane if you really want to be able to spend survival. It's just that bonus. So this does mean if your insanity is at 1 or 2, this means nothing. And of course, at 0. Keep in mind, you are not immune to auto deaths. You are not immune to anything. In fact, you just have more armor. Indecision. Past decisions haunt you. Ceaselessly, you are crippled by indecision. And even the most trivial choices grip your terror. I just want to point out the disorder's name is in the description. That's kind of a no-no, but whatever. If you are the event revealer of a hunt event that calls for you to make a roll twice and use the lowest result. It's like survival of the fittest for the shit that's more likely to get you killed, instead of just random schmucks. Monster panic. Monsters make you feel bad. Really, really bad. Whenever you suffer brain damage from an intimidate action, suffer 1 additional brain damage. At level 1, so early on, this sucks. Level 2, it's annoying. Level 3, if you can't tolerate this, you're probably dead already. So this isn't too bad, really. It just, at level 1, it doubles it for most effects. Post-traumatic stress. The last hunt was harrowing. All you can do is cower and revel in the trauma. Only time can heal your wounds. Next settlement phase, you do not contribute or participate in any endeavors. Skip the next hunt to recover. So, I don't know if that means remove it, or you can only go on every other hunt and you don't give endeavors. Personally, I'm gonna say it removes it. You recover from the disorder, because the text is the last hunt was so harrowing, because otherwise this would just be like Afraid of the Dark. prey. You are prey. Duh. All there is for you is death. You may not spend survival unless you're insane. Not too bad unless you also have immortal. Or anything else that's just like, you can't spend while insane. Quixotic. You carry the weight of your settlement on your shoulders. Everyone is counting on you to save them, and you will rise to the challenge. If you're insane when you depart, gain +1 survival and +1 strength token. This one's actually nice. One of my players got this also around the same time that I got immortal, and it's just great. They did get it through the Society event, which, if you accept the darkness and roll a 6+, somebody will get this, on top of 2 specific fighting arts. Rageaholic. Your rage boils out of control, causing you to see red at the slightest provocation. When you suffer a severe injury, also suffer the frenzy brain trauma. Not horrible unless you want to be a survival spending build, or fighting arts, or the other things that frenzy stops, but otherwise it's not bad. Assuming you survive that severe injury. Secretive. You love secrets so much, in fact, that you pretend to have many. When you are a returning survivor, you quickly become preoccupied with your own affairs. You must skip the next hunt to deal with them. So, this is the other reason that I say that post-traumatic is not skip every other and don't give an endeavor, because this is skip every other, basically. If you go on all the hunts you can, that is. Seizures. Lingering damage from your head injuries has caused you to experience periods of uncontrollable shaking and absence of thought. During the showdown, whenever you suffer brain damage to your head location, you are knocked down. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But it could be worse. Pretty much you just always want to dodge your head when you can. Squeamish. You can't handle bad smells. You can't depart with any stinky gear in your gear grid. If a status or effect would cause you to become stinky, lose all your survival. Ugh. And this is, of course, horrible with the one disorder I read off earlier, where you need something stinky. Yeah, that was anxiety. Traumatized. Your experience has left you shaken and paralyzed of fear. Whenever you end or act adjacent to a monster, you're knocked down. That does mean it will interrupt the act. Basically, you turn into a support and or range character, or you wait till this is gone. Vestophobia! Even the lightest armor rubs harshly against your skin and constricts your ability to move. You cannot wear any armor at the body location. If you are wearing armor at the body location when you gain this disorder, archive it as you tear it off your person. Ugh. This is potentially a cure for the King's Curse, though, which I'll cover later when I get to the fight that causes it. At least I would say, because this seems like something that could even remove curse items. Regardless, yeah, that can really suck. That can result in, like, a lantern armor chest piece just being destroyed. Weak spot. You have an imaginary infirmity. When you gain this disorder, roll random hit location and record it. You cannot depart unless you have armor in that hit location. If you have both of these, that survivor is basically screwed. And I've seen it. It sucks. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful. If it was, feel free to press the like button. If you think this will be helpful for someone else, feel free to share this video. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and press the dislike button. I won't mind, but please try to leave a constructive comment as to why you didn't like it. Also, feel free to comment in general, and if you want to see more like this, be it more board game overview videos with lots of Kingdom Death still on the way, my painting videos, also lots of Kingdom Death still on the way, or anything else that you might want to watch on my channel, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.